I've been using colouring pencils for over 8 years, and what a journey it's been. We thank the Lord for growth. So I'm going to talk about 5 things I wish I knew as a beginner in the colouring pencil space. So let's go. Hey people, it's Temi if you're new here, and it's Tuesday today, so you already know I'm back with another Temi's tirade. So this is a series on my channel where I just rant about art things on Tuesdays. Last time I didn't actually do a tirade, I did the first Temi Trash Talks Your Art where I just roasted all of your art. If you want to see it, I'll link to it here. But in today's video, I just want to give you the tea about using colouring pencils. You know, some of those tips that you only get from actual experience. The things I wish I knew when I first switched from graphite. And the last one is the biggest thing I wish I knew. So yeah, number 1, keep your pencils sharp. You might think it's not that deep, I don't want to finish my pencils, but trust me, it is that deep. It makes blending so much easier when your pencils are sharp because you're able to really layer the colors and get into the tooth of the paper. So you want to make sure you invest in a good sharpener because the last thing you need is to be fighting the pen and fighting the sharpener as well. This is the sharpener I use. I do so much color pencil work that all this twisting and fumbling is too much for me. But of course you don't need an automatic sharpener. Just make sure the one you find does the job. By the way, all the supplies I use are linked in the description box of my videos. And number 2, work in light layers. If you're a beginner with colouring pencils, you might just go in instantly with too much pressure, and this will cause you to burnish too quickly. So burnishing is the act of drawing with hard pressure, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. At the end of your process, you actually want to use this technique so that you don't see any of the whites of the paper coming through. But adding too much pressure too quickly will limit the amount of layers you can put over the top. And working in light layers allows you to build up the pigment layer by layer to get to an opaque point at the end. If you want to learn about layering and blending your colors, I have quite a few videos on it on my channel, so I'll link a playlist here to all of my blending videos. Number 3, the paper is more important than the pencils. Yeah, I said it! When you think about getting into color pencil work, the first and most important thing on your mind is probably usually the pencils. You know, I want to get the perfect pencils. I want to get the pencils that will do all the work for me. But let me tell you, the paper is even more important because with cheap pencils, you can still do a good job on good paper in comparison to the most expensive pencils on bad paper. And what is good paper? What is bad paper? It kind of comes down to personal preference. And I guess as long as you're not using printer paper or one paper in one random notebook, I guess you're off to a good start. But if you're thinking of investing in a new sketchbook, the thing you need to pay attention to is the surface of the paper. So we're thinking about how smooth or rough the paper is. You don't want a paper that's too smooth that there's no tooth for the colouring pencils to hold onto. But also you don't want super rough paper as well, because how will you create those smooth, beautiful blends? At the moment, my faves are Artisan mixed media paper and De La Rowney pastel paper. I've linked my Amazon store to all my faves down in the description. Number 4, don't be scared of picking the right colors. Arguably, one of the most challenging or one of the most nerve-wracking parts of doing a color pencil piece is, how do you know which colors to pick? How do you know how to combine the colors? And I'm here to tell you, it doesn't actually matter. I'm sure that's not what you wanted to hear today, but you can actually mix the colors by layering. So if you put a red down and you're thinking, this is not giving what y'all said it should have gave, you can easily add another color to change the hue. And to be honest, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, a drawing can still look realistic even if you don't have a perfect color match. Because what makes a drawing realistic isn't how vibrant the colors are or what hue you've settled on. It's more important to have good contrast. So you want to make sure you have a variety of lights and darks in the piece. So don't worry about buying the biggest set of colors with 15 reds. You're not going to use half of those colors. So if you want to invest in a professional color pencil brand, you're better off starting with a smaller set, whatever you can afford, and work on really combining the colors, understand color theory, and you can create amazing work. Number 5, and this is the biggest thing I personally wish I knew, mixed media helps you much more than you can ever imagine with color pencil work. So when I speak about mixed media, I'm talking about using a combination of supplies, so not just coloring pencils in my portraits. So for example, I'm referring to using markers or fine liners for detail, using a white pen for highlights, using markers or pan pastels for a base. You know, all of these little tricks that make your life easier. And let me tell you something about me, especially when it comes to art. I am absolutely here for the tips and tricks because I am not trying to die on the line. So those are just some of the techniques that I use to speed up the process and to produce better drawings. If you want to see those techniques in action and if you want to learn more about how I do so, I have a whole portrait drawing playlist where I show you step by step of everything I do, talking through the entire process. So I'll link it in the description if you want to see that. So yeah, those are just 5 of the things that I wish I knew when I was a beginner in the color pencil space. And let me know some of the things that you wish you knew also. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.